Now, when you get to this step, this means that you're like 95% of the way done. Whatever garment that you're trying to make fit you better, oh, it's about to fit spectacularly. But for this step here, there's a right way of doing it and there's a wrong way of doing it. And I wanna make sure that you do it right every time. And we're talking about the zigzag stitch. Now, if you're not familiar with the zigzag stitch, it's similar to a straight stitch in that, well, you know, the needle moves forward as you sew along, right? Right, but instead of the needle not only moving forward, it also moves from side to side as it sews along, creating a zigzag pattern. And you use that after you cut off that extra fabric from your garment, and you wanna use it to seal off that edge there, because that edge, it's not gonna be happy, it's gonna start to fray on you and just get all angry. So we wanna do what we can to prevent that from happening. First, we have to set up the sewing machine though. Now, on my sewing machine, I have the stitch width set to 7. So that means the needle is gonna move from side to side as wide as it possibly can, covering up that full edge of that garment. And the stitch length, well, that's set to 2.5, just like it always is, pretty much for everything that we always do. See, this whole DIY tailoring thing, it's easy. Like, you barely adjust hardly any of the settings. And kind of dialing it back just a little bit here. Now, the stitch width on my machine, it goes from 1 to 7. 1 means the needle is not gonna have a lot of travel from side to side, and 7 means it's gonna have a lot of travel from side to side. And that's because the zigzag stitch can be used for a couple of other things. You can use a zigzag stitch for your primary stitch on stretchy material. So if you were to do that, you would set your stitch width to about 1 or 2, but that's not the topic of this video. We'll get to that another time. Because there's a few problems that people can run into when it comes to creating a zigzag stitch. And one of the biggest ones is not having your stitch length set to that standard 2.5. Because when your stitch length, when it's too short, those stitches are gonna be really close together, just all tight, and it's gonna make that seam really just stiff and uncomfortable, and it's not gonna have a lot of flexibility to it like at all. But on the flip side, if your stitch length is too long, it's not gonna adequately cover up that edge. You're gonna have some really big gaps in between the zigzags, and you're still gonna get some fraying, and you're still gonna get mad. So once you've got your settings right, you wanna cut off all that extra fabric on there, leaving about 1/2 of an inch or so on that edge there. And then you wanna line up that edge right underneath your needle in the presser foot there, right in the middle. Because this is going to ensure that the needle covers both sides evenly. It's gonna come into the fabric on one side, and then it's going to come completely off of the fabric on the other side, or the other pass. So yes, into the fabric and out, in and out. King of the castle, king of the castle. And as you start making that zigzag stitch, keep an eye on it to make sure that everything is going according to plan. You might come off course a little bit, where you might come off of the fabric on both passes. That's okay. You can just course correct it and try and be mindful and just get started again. Use your hands as a guide. They're not pushing or anything. They're just there to guide your garment, guide your fabric, keep it in line. And when you're done, your seam should be all nice and secure and tight like a tiger. Another problem that people can run into is the zigzag stitch itself. It's coming out a little bit wavy. Ends up looking a little bit weird, and that can happen for a couple different reasons. One of those reasons is the type of material or fabric that you're putting that zigzag stitch on, because some materials, well, if they just do that by definition, and then other ones, it might be for a few other reasons. And if you're on this side here, you just gotta get your iron and get some starch and just iron that bad boy on out. The starch is gonna end up helping stabilize that fabric and just smooth everything out. So you're gonna have a nice crisp and clean seam. So fresh and so clean. Zigzag stitch seems scary, but it's not once you get the basics down. And it's kind of hot outside right now, so why don't we go, let's go learn how to make our shorts fit us better, shall we? Yeah, let's do that. It's in the next video. I'll see you over there. SD out. Deuces.